Jing Li's sense of urgency intensifies. The fight against Mr. Q might be over, but it seems like a mere prelude to the real battle ahead. The Phantom's network is vast, and they're prepared to do whatever it takes to maintain control. For Jing Li, it feels like everything is spiraling out of his control, but he knows one thing for sure: he's not backing down now. As the chapter ends, Jing Li prepares for a confrontation that could change everything. His resolve is tested, but his determination to stop the Phantom only grows stronger. He knows the stakes are higher than ever, and he's willing to face whatever comes next no matter the cost. Jing Li feels the pressure mounting as he follows the lead on the Phantom's elusive network. Every step he takes seems to uncover a deeper layer of corruption, and the more he uncovers, the more dangerous the situation becomes. The stakes have never been higher, and Jing Li knows that he must outsmart the Phantom and their forces if he hopes to stop their growing power. The investigation takes a darker turn when Jing Li discovers that the Phantom's influence isn't just limited to the criminal world, it extends into the highest echelons of society. Corrupt officials, businessmen, and even law enforcement officers are rumored to be under the Phantom's control. The realization shakes Jing Li to his core. This isn't just about bringing down a criminal organization, it's about taking down an entire network of power and influence that has infected every corner of the city. Jing Li, with the help of his most trusted allies, begins to make moves against the Phantom's operations. However, they soon find themselves facing unexpected obstacles, betrayals from within, well-placed spies, and a constant game of cat and mouse. The more they push forward, the more resistance they encounter. It becomes clear that the Phantom is always one step ahead, anticipating their every move. As tensions rise, Jing Li's personal life begins to feel the strain. He's been consumed by the investigation, sacrificing his time, his relationships, and even his health in the process. His thoughts are always on the next move, the next lead, but deep down, he knows that he's losing himself in the chase. One evening, after a close encounter with one of the Phantom's operatives, Jing Li returns to his apartment, exhausted and frustrated. The weight of the mission is starting to take its toll, and he begins to question whether he can really take down such a formidable foe. But even in the midst of doubt, his resolve remains firm. He can't let the Phantom win, not when so many lives are at stake. In the final moments of the chapter, Jing Li receives an unexpected message, a warning that someone close to him may have been compromised. His heart sinks as he realizes that the people he trusts the most might be in danger. With time running out and the stakes getting higher, Jing Li must navigate a dangerous web of deceit and betrayal as he prepares for the final confrontation with the Phantom. Jing Li had just finished planning his next move when a sudden phone call interrupted him. It was from his landlord, informing him about an unexpected inspection of the apartment. This news caught Jing Li off guard, because his apartment was filled with evidence of his newfound wealth. Determined not to raise suspicion, Jing Li quickly began hiding the stacks of cash, expensive items, and rare artifacts he had accumulated. While he was organizing, he realized how much his life had changed since discovering the hidden money. A sense of urgency and responsibility weighed on him now. The landlord arrived sooner than expected, accompanied by a maintenance worker. Jing Li maintained a calm and friendly demeanor, making sure they didn't notice anything unusual. During the inspection, Jing Li noticed the worker eyeing his belongings suspiciously. For a moment, he thought he might have made a mistake in hiding everything. After a tense few minutes, the inspection concluded, and the landlord left with no suspicions. Jing Li breathed a sigh of relief, but the incident served as a stark reminder his secret could be exposed at any moment. He resolved to tighten security and be more careful in the future. This chapter captures the growing tension in Jing Li's life as he balances his secret fortune with the challenges of everyday life. Will he manage to keep everything hidden, or will his secret eventually come to light? Jing Li's life seemed to grow more complicated each day. After the close call with the landlord's inspection, he decided to secure his apartment further. He contacted a trusted locksmith to install a state-of-the-art security system, ensuring no one could enter without his knowledge. While the locksmith worked, Jing Li's mind wandered to the mysterious origins of the money he had found. Who had hidden it in the apartment? Were they still looking for it? These thoughts made him uneasy, but he quickly pushed them aside, focusing on staying cautious. Later that day, Jing Li received a call from his old friend, Zhang Wei. Zhang seemed unusually curious about Jing Li's recent change in behavior and hinted at visiting him soon. Jing Li couldn't help but feel suspicious. Was Zhang genuinely concerned, or did he know something about the hidden fortune? Meanwhile, Jing Li visited a nearby electronics store and purchased surveillance cameras. As he installed them around his apartment, he felt a sense of relief, knowing he could now monitor any unusual activity. However, deep down, he knew that these precautions were only temporary solutions to a larger problem. By the end of the day, Jing Li sat in his living room, exhausted but determined. He realized that his newfound wealth was both a blessing and a curse. The pressure of keeping it hidden was starting to take a toll on him. But he knew he had no choice. He had to protect his secret at all costs. Jing Li's worries grew deeper as he noticed how much his life had changed since finding the hidden fortune. Even the smallest interactions now felt like potential threats. To clear his mind, he decided to take a walk in the city. However, his steps were cautious, his eyes scanning for anyone who might be following him. As Jing Li strolled through the busy streets, he overheard a group of men talking about a missing stash of money. They mentioned a reward for anyone who could provide information. Jing Li's heart skipped a beat. Could they be referring to the money in his apartment? He quickly walked away, pretending he hadn't heard anything, but his mind was racing with possibilities. Later that evening, back in his apartment, Jing Li reviewed the footage from his newly installed cameras. To his surprise, he noticed a man lingering outside his building for an unusual amount of time. The man's face was partially hidden, but he appeared to be looking for something or someone. Jing Li's unease grew as he realized the risks of keeping the money hidden in the apartment. The sense of safety he had built with his security upgrades now felt fragile. For the first time, he considered the possibility of relocating the money to a safer location. As the chapter ends, Jing Li sits in his dimly lit apartment, surrounded by silence but haunted by the fear of being discovered. He knew he couldn't let his guard down, not now, not ever. Jing Li woke up to the sound of his phone buzzing repeatedly. It was a message from Zhang Wei, his old friend, reminding him of their planned visit. Jing Li felt a wave of anxiety wash over him. Zhang was a sharp observer, and any slip-up could reveal the secret he was trying so hard to protect. Determined to prepare, Jing Li spent the morning rearranging his apartment. He stashed away anything that might seem suspicious: hidden compartments, luxury items, and especially the stacks of cash. By the time Zhang arrived, the apartment looked ordinary, as if nothing had changed. Zhang walked in with a cheerful smile but quickly began looking around the apartment, his curiosity barely hidden. Jing Li tried to keep the conversation light, offering tea and talking about old memories. But Zhang's questions soon turned personal. He asked about Jing Li's sudden shift in lifestyle, his absence from gatherings, and his newfound focus on privacy. Jing Li kept his answers vague, carefully steering the conversation away from anything incriminating. However, Zhang's gaze lingered on a corner of the apartment where Jing Li had hastily stored some items. Jing Li's heart pounded, but he managed to keep his composure. As Zhang finally left, Jing Li felt a mix of relief and suspicion. Was Zhang genuinely concerned, or was he digging for information? The visit left Jing Li more determined than ever to protect his secret, knowing that even close friends could pose a threat to his safety. After Zhang Wei's visit, Jing Li couldn't shake the feeling that his secret was on the verge of being discovered. He decided to take drastic measures to secure the hidden money. Late at night, he began packing some of the cash and valuable items into a sturdy, inconspicuous bag. His plan was to move a portion of it to a safer location. The next morning, Jing Li left his apartment early, blending into the bustling city streets. He made his way to a bank to open a safety deposit box. However, as he stood in line, he noticed a man from the corner of his eye. The man seemed oddly familiar. It was the same person he had seen lingering outside his building on the surveillance footage. Jing Li felt a rush of panic, but maintained a calm exterior. He quickly stepped out of line, pretending to answer a phone call, and left the bank. He couldn't take the risk of being followed, especially while carrying the money. Back at his apartment, Jing Li reviewed the surveillance footage again, determined to confirm his suspicions. The same man had indeed been watching the building for days. Jing Li realized he wasn't just being paranoid, someone was clearly onto him. This chapter ends with Jing Li sitting in the dark, contemplating his next move. He knew he had to act quickly and outsmart whoever was watching him. The stakes were higher than ever, and one wrong step could cost him everything. Jing Li's paranoia grew stronger as he realized someone was keeping a close eye on him. He decided to create a plan to mislead his potential pursuer. That night, he packed an empty suitcase and a few fake bundles of cash, hoping to create the illusion that he was moving the money. The next morning, Jing Li dressed casually and left the apartment with the suitcase in hand. He walked purposefully through the streets, making sure to take routes that were easy to observe. As expected, The man from the surveillance footage was trailing him at a distance. Jing Li felt a rush of adrenaline but kept his composure.
He led the pursuer to a crowded subway station, weaving through the rush of commuters. At the last second, Jing Li boarded a train heading in the opposite direction of his destination, leaving the man stranded on the platform. Jing Li smirked to himself. His decoy had worked.
Once Jing Li was sure he wasn't being followed, he made his way to a storage facility on the outskirts of the city. He rented a unit under a fake name and carefully transferred a portion of the real cash into the secure locker. He felt a small sense of relief knowing the money was now safer, at least for the time being. Back at home, Jing Li reviewed the day's events. He had successfully shaken off the pursuer, but he knew this was only a temporary solution. The people looking for the money weren't going to give up easily, and Jing Li had to stay one